All right, and welcome to another episode of the P114 Filmmakers podcast. This is season 2. I think this is episode 5. I think. Anyway, I'm Jesse Knight.
I'm Randall Lanier.
Aiden Ford.
Cat Holmes.
Tyler Schulte.
And we're here to talk about all things filmmaking. And today we've got a interesting kind of topic brought in by Randall Lanier. So take it away, Randall.
Basically, I'm doing this for a project for English class, and my thesis statement for the class for this particular thing is the portrayal of women in movies in 2018 has become more positive or stronger, positive and stronger, and less degrading to women than in the past. We've seen images. I've shown you all images that we saw on YouTube of women, the peppermint one and the girl. Sorry, I can't remember the name of the movie.
Girl with the Giant Tattoo. Or Girl in the Spider's Web.
Yes,
that's right.
Sorry. Thank you very much for that. And shown that, and some parts of Infinity War with Scarlet Witch. It's shown that women are not. This has all been done in 2018, and it's shown that women have become stronger and more, less of the female, hey, you gotta save me, or whatever type of thing, and
stereotypes are being
right.
broken more than they had been.
Right. We're not all there yet. I'll give you that. No, we're not all there yet, but it has become each year has become better. Mm-hmm. And then we're just concentrating on 2018 at this point in time.
Right.
Now I have a couple questions for y'all. Start off with the audience for these movies. What do you think who the audience are for? Whether it be younger kids, or
right.
Teenagers, what do you think more?
Definitely the first one's more for adults, like maybe older teenagers with
the girl, quote
unquote cooler parents, but
right.
the girl in the spiderweb thing. I mean, I just know those stories.
Right.
They're not. I wouldn't let my kids see those because there's a lot of hard stuff in those.
Do you think teenagers could see this, or would it be more of a?
I wouldn't go by the standards my parents would with me. I think 11 is too young. I think 17, probably 16, maybe.
17. What about? Maybe even people in the 60s. I mean, they could watch it, of course.
Right.
But would they be more willing to want to go see it or whatever?
It depends really on There's a wide gamut of people like age 60, so it's sort of
right.
like, there's some that definitely would be, since they grew up on stuff that's not as strong, though if you go back to the 70s, stuff's pretty damn strong, right. But, it just depends on what they would be
okay.
Used to. The next one, though, the peppermint, probably younger, seems like, 14, 15, 16,
I could see.
Yeah, it's action.
Feel free to jump in. Y'all would jump in anytime. But y'all, how do y'all think about that, audience-wise or whatever, for any of them, either one of them?
I'd say teenagers, and for an action movie, I just see like being like not like a family movie, but almost kind of like a family movie in a way.
You mean,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe as older kids and they're seeing it.
For the peppermint movie.
Yeah.
I would think no one over 50. I think it would be rare to see anyone over 50 in the 50, 55.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Probably 60s pushing it.
Yeah.
My grandfather probably wouldn't go see either of these movies.
Yeah.
My grandmother either.
Mine are dead, but I'd say the same, even if they were alive.
I actually agree with Kat. I mean, you'll have people surprise you. So
They might watch it at home, but they definitely wouldn't go.
Yeah, they would go out of their way.
You're right.
Yeah.
Definitely.
For the Dragons, you got me saying it, Jesse. For the Spiderweb movie, definitely. As far as that movie, let's take away the older people, younger people. I don't think they would like it because I remember trying to watch something just like that when I was younger. Couldn't get into it. It wasn't because what was in it. I just couldn't get into it. It's too much adult stuff. But I think that a little older, maybe like late teens, early 20s would definitely be watching it. My mom likes stuff like that, and she's like, I hate to do this to her, but she's in her 50s. So you know.
Well, also too, what about a male to female ratio? Now, would males go for?
I was actually gonna say, sorry to interrupt you, but I was
No.
actually just gonna say that because I knew that's kind of what we were hitting at earlier. I think women, yes, would watch it more. Not because it would be initially about a woman, but I've noticed that women love powerful women. Men, I'm not saying men don't care, but
I
I think
know
it'd
a
be
lot of
50-50.
guys who like the more assertive, more
Yeah.
powerful
I'd say
woman.
from my point of view, I'd see me and my dad going to see those. My mom definitely not. She does not into that hardcore stuff.
Right.
But me and my dad, we would see it.
Mhm.
Most definitely.
The Avengers one.
That's
pretty-
everybody.
That's
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
That's
But
ages to
they're a little
everybody.
different too. Like Scarlet Witch, you see her more of a protector and a fighter. The other two are like revenge. I'm gonna kill people. I'm tired of that.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Right.
You know,
Well, I
it's-
mean,
it's a little
you would-
different.
Would it be? Well, you just said basically in your age group or whatever that you would be willing to go see it. Now, would men still shy away from it, but they would go to it if they had a girlfriend and wanted to go see it or whatever type thing? You know what I'm saying?
I saw that
Or
stuff by
or
myself.
wife,
So-
whichever.
You talking
case
about
may
the
be.
spider and all that?
Either any. Well, it's,
Oh.
of course, the Marvel one. I think everybody would. Go
I
to,
would
but
go
if-
with friends to see that.
Yeah. Okay. I mean.
have you ever
I'd see
seen?
it.
And I also
you
would
wouldn't
go
be-
with a
you wouldn't
girlfriend.
see it. Well, as a female in power, I don't want to go see that or whatever type thing.
I don't even see them as that. I just see them as
Yeah, I mean-
movies. Actually,
Yeah.
movies
I mean, I'm
about
just
what they're
throwing that
about.
out
Have you
there.
ever thought, and this is, I mean, obviously I'm a man, but have you ever thought to yourself that maybe, and this is obviously not you guys because you guys aren't like that, but some men probably watch it for the fact that,
They're sexy women or whatever. type
yeah,
thing.
kicking
Sure.
asses,
Yeah.
taking names.
Yeah.
But
Not because they really care or think that it's possible that a woman could. I'm just asking.
right.
I'm not
Yeah,
suggesting.
I understand what I understand what Tom.
I see
Yeah, I
it
mean,
sort
it's
of-
possible. I mean, they just were looking for maybe gratuitous nudity or whatever type
Right,
thing.
yeah,
Here's the
but
deal though, when I
especially
watched
the
it, because
Right.
that's a good question, but when I'm watching, like, I know it's the girl in Spider's Web, but the predecessor, I wanted to be the girl in it.
Yeah,
Like, I just wanted to be that position of power,
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and I liked that character.
yeah.
And I would be like, looking at it, I wouldn't want to be the person, I would want to be her,
Yeah.
honestly.
No, I hear you.
That's
I
how I
totally
looked
get
at
that.
that. That's a very honest thing you can ask yourself, like, who do you want to be in this thing,
Yeah, or with, and
Sure.
yeah. So I
know as a woman, I go to some movies just because I want to see this attractive male shirtless.
Sure.
Well, yeah, that's why it can't. It's not. That's why I asked. Is because there are women that do that,
Yeah.
like Magic Mike. Sorry to get off topic. Just
But
saying.
this isn't.
I watched that for the plot.
But in Fury Road, I know this isn't a 2018 movie, but in Fury Road, Furiosa, I mean, I would want to be Furiosa. She's a
Oh yeah,
badass.
yes.
badass.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Let's see. Now, what do you think? Did the movie studios construct these images of the representation of the women to make them look stronger, or is they? I mean, I know Girl in the Spider's Web was based on a book.
Mhm.
The Marvel stuff was based on books or whatever.
Sure.
Peppermint was right, as far as I know. And there again, it might be based on a book. I'm not sure. I will admit I'm not 100% sure about that. I have to look that up. But it could be. I mean, it's just. But let's just say it's not based on a book. It's just constructed. Did they make it? Well, we could go back to what we just said about. Do you think they were constructed to look sexy? I mean,
Not the girl with the spider web thing.
No.
okay,
Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
all right. There, you wouldn't have constructed by the movie company, and that's what to make it look sexy. I mean, of course, it was based on a book, so it's not even like comic books where you could say, well, you would just took the image out of the comic book and made it look like, because it's a sexy woman in the comic book, so we're gonna make them look sexy on screen. Which I like the way that they portray Scarlet Witch the way she's portrayed to be, but anyway, that's. But I mean, that's do you think it's constructed to be? I mean, Peppermint was a little more of a her mother, a mother that lost her family. I mean, she looks badass. I mean, or strong and
She kind of was like,
But I don't. I didn't consider the construction of her to be sexy. I mean, I'm not saying that she wasn't, but I'm just saying that.
she's just like a normal person.
Right,
It's more matter of fact. It kind of reminds me of how they approached the Punisher, except minus the skull on the T-shirt.
Right.
But
The only
Right.
thing
family
about
kill,
that,
revenge.
Yeah, it's just
the only thing about that though is, and I have noticed this with movies, like I was thinking The Punisher too, but they take the woman and put her in a position because The Punisher was already badass. Sorry for
Right.
cussing, but he was already bad.
Well, yeah,
he was
it's
already
true.
because he was in the
He was
Marines
already
or
in,
whatever.
yeah.
But
It's true.
she was just this mom, or
Yeah.
whatever she was. You could tell that she had to be away for
Right.
5 years to learn
Right.
how to kick butt.
Right.
They do that in a lot of movies with women, but I'm not looking at as that's what they mean to do. But
Right.
sometimes it seems like they just don't naturally have that. I've seen, actually I can think about a good 10 off the top of my head where they are just someone that just as helpless as probably I am to
Right.
someone that can do anything.
I
You
think
know?
that's because that's kind of empowering to think that you could be that way, and there's also movies where it's guys.
Right.
No, I
and
agree.
like that you. I mean, I didn't think you weren't saying that, but
Yeah.
I mean, in Salt, she's already a badass. You know, she's trained already.
yeah.
Mm.
Like
I really think
Atomic
it's a
Blonde that
story
came
point
out
of view.
just a couple years ago
Yeah.
too.
She's an average Joe. Of course, if she was already able to fight, you'd be like, wait, what'd she do before though?
Plus,
It's just a story point of view. You know what I mean?
It's not out yet, but I think of stuff like Battle Angel Alita, which is based on an old.
Oh,
movie,
yeah.
You know, that looks kind of interesting.
That looks interesting.
Main
They're
characters
gonna
are
Captain
fighting.
Marvel is going to be out in a month, but less than a month now.
Mhm.
So we've seen images of that. I just was wondering because I mean they tend to also movie companies tend to. Yeah, we have some strong females, but we're gonna put them in sexy little outfits, or
Yeah.
really,
Right,
very,
For sure.
hey, she, male. We gotta get the male,
Right.
in there, too, or whatever. Hey, she's strong, but
Instead of being realistic.
she's got to
See,
be like,
I had a big issue thinking about that in Wonder Woman. It was a very good movie. And the Amazons, right?
Mhm.
They were armored up, and I thought that's cool because a lot of movies, the female warriors are just like exposed,
Yeah,
and it
just-
makes no
yeah.
sense. That's what I like about Wonder Woman is they were very armored and they were able to be
Right.
protected.
Mhm.
But then when Justice League came out, they lost all their armor. You watch it, they look very different, and it's
been a
like
little while since I saw
And I was
That's
like-
because a woman directed.
a woman directed
Yeah,
Wonder
yeah,
Woman,
there you go.
and I was just kind of like, huh,
Yeah.
what happened to all the armor?
They do that to men though too.
That's
But I just thought that was funny to see the difference.
I do
Right.
think
Scandal.
there's an underlying thing we haven't talked about yet because it's a trend now. Our culture's changing and stuff. But what in the end do people that make movies who are in control of making them, what do they want? I mean, what is the main thing they
Money.
want? Right.
True.
So they're going to look for trends in our culture to capitalize on. So we're going to get more of that. This is a very cut and dry kind of way to put it out there. It could be anything.
Mm.
People could be fascinated by anything, and they would look at that as a way
Right.
to maybe do money, which makes sense.
It
The
does.
more people that want to think a certain
Right.
way, if it's perpetuated in the movies, they're going to pay to go see that because it reinforces.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Mm.
I don't know.
Randall, have you seen Red Sparrow?
No, I haven't.
Very
Is it good?
super good. It's got its vulgar moments, but
I wanted to see
it's
it.
very raunchy. Yes, that's the word for it. It's super
Like the
good.
girl with the dragon tattoo.
Yeah, actually, it's almost just as more raunchy, but you need to watch it because it really does kind of. But they're in Russia, so we're not in Russia, but they treat their women differently. From what I hear, I don't know that for a fact, but
Right.
it definitely has a perspective that you're coming from, where you're coming from in it.
Well, to kind of to at least this part of the conversation to end this part of the conversation, we think that the portrayal of women has been shown positive and stronger in 2018, and we're constantly growing hopefully as a society, and we're showing everybody can be on the equal amount of things, and hopefully can like I said we've talked about Captain Marvel, and you talked about the Battle Elite
Battle Angel.
Battle Angel, yeah,
yeah. Which is coming out.
yeah, so they're eventually coming out.
Another
So-
good female character, but it's not 2018, but it was a Hit Girl from Kick-Ass.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
She was a
She's great.
Badass.
She's probably I liked her better than
Right?
Kick-Ass.
Right? I liked her better than Kick-Ass as well.
Yeah.
2018?
No, that's what I said way back.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
2010 when Kick-Ass came
Yeah.
out.
Red Sparrow was 2018.
And one that
Really?
just came out, Miss
Really?
Bala. I don't think it
Oh
was as
yeah,
widely
I know the
advertised
movie
as
you're talking
other
about. I haven't
things,
seen
but
it, but
with Gina Rodriguez.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, she's always cool. She always plays a badass.
What was another one?
And she was in Jane the Virgin too, so she's diverse. I love her with my whole heart.
I actually like sometimes watching movies like Mother. That was I mean, it wasn't really an action movie. I don't know
That's
if
a
you've seen
scary
it.
movie.
It was thriller,
Yeah.
but it wasn't scary.
Right.
It had its moments where it was creepy.
Jennifer Lawrence.
But, yeah, but she like was really weak and didn't understand. There was reasons why, but
Yeah.
there was a strongness to her, and I actually do like that sometimes in in movies with women, because you don't think they're strong, but they actually really are emotionally strong.
Right.
You know, which is almost better than physically. So I mean, you know, sometimes it is pleasing to watch.
I tried to find some images of Black Panther because there was a lot of
Strong women.
scene in there with Shuri and his sister and his former girlfriend in there, and of course I can't think of the actress's name, but the woman who played his leader of his bodyguards.
I can't remember either.
Can't think of her name. You know
All I
what I'm
can
talking
think
about.
of is the
But she was on she's on Walking Dead too, but she was, like I said, there was a lot of good scenes and battle scenes with them in there too, strong, showing them
I
very.
thought she was better than
Think about
Black
it.
Panther.
I honestly I honestly liked the parts better with them than I did Black Panther in some parts, but I thought they actually acted better too. But you know, that's another story altogether. But yeah, I thought I was trying to find images of them too. I couldn't find the ones I really wanted or whatever type thing because there was so much in those battle scenes. There was a lot of popping, shooting them, or they're doing something, but then they show Black Panther too.
Right.
In the next little thing, it was really quick, quick cuts and everything like that. So it was just like a lot of stuff going on. But I thought there was more parts with them being directly. But anyway, it's been a while since had seen it. But I liked. But that shows, and I showed Shuri, his sister, teenage, or not, honestly, necessarily she was a teenager, probably early 20s, mid 20s, or whatever, showing her being brain, she had a brain, she invented all these gadgets for him or whatever type thing, and so I thought that was kind of interesting looking to see. I mean, I like the images, and they didn't feel forced. They didn't feel like, oh, they're just throwing her in there just to be,
Right.
the person. She helped him out too during the thing, and so that's.
You could almost, not for the main character, but you could almost look at 007 movies as a guidance of where like culture was back in the 60s and 70s versus where it is now. Like the early stuff is like, almost every line is drenched with misogyny, which is almost kind of comedic to go back and watch.
Oh yeah, like the new.
But the new ones, the boss is Judi Dench, who's she's a great actress, and super strong.
Right.
Totally. Is she still in the newest one? Was she still cute? Yeah, I think so.
I don't remember.
No, she
Oh, no,
was
she
dead
wasn't.
by
The-
then, but
the-
she did
that's
cameo.
right.
The
That's
main
right.
Bond girl, I'm
Thanks.
bad at actor names, I don't remember, but the main Bond girl in Casino Royale,
Mhm.
she helps
Eva
him.
Green.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
she helps him, like that one great scene where she helps him kill the guy, and she's like horrified because
She killed somebody.
she had killed someone, but she stepped up her game, and helped
Right.
out. So.
Does it paint women in good light or not? I don't know, but I just recently saw Suspiria, and that was incredible. And talk about like strong characters. Like the witches in that are above human. They're like been around like before we even came up with the concept of God and the devil and stuff. So like these people practicing their deal, like they were like to the level of like demigods almost in this movie, and it was almost the whole cast was female. The guys in it were almost like pathetic, made fun of, and they took guys and made fun of them and stuff like that. It was interesting, but they did the whole thing about their dance school and how hard and how strict everything was. You just heard, like, dancer movies kind of bother me anyway because I'm seeing a lot of contorting backs and stuff like that. It's just like, God, I feel my own back popping. But just, it was an interesting take. And, you know, and granted, like, it's got a male director and that, and I don't know really how that affects, like, how things are presented and stuff. But I have to say, I got a lot of respect for the actress Tilda Swinton who's in it.
Gosh, yes.
My God, she even played like an old man in this movie too. I don't know. It's just,
I think she's played every.
Yeah, she was like at least 3 people in this.
Kind of person you can
Yeah,
have.
it's just I forget that she's like completely amazing. Like you know, as far as an actor goes and stuff. But it was,
I'm sorry. What were you saying? Did you say something? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt. Yeah, she's a great actress. She's played a lot of good roles, different kinds of roles too. You never know where you're gonna get.
Like one was almost this. She was basically in a latex bag. It was like this old witch. You know, was one of them, and it was just like. I mean, you could have gotten anybody to be in that, you know, but she did it, man. It was crazy. She even had like sunglasses on.
What's that called?
Suspiria.
Okay, yeah.
Really famous, actually. The Argento is the Italian director that did the original, and he's a giallo filmmaker. Giallo is Italian slasher films. You know, you always see the hand with the knife in it, but you don't see the killer usually. That kind of stuff, you know. And most of his was like that. Like the original Suspiria, though, it had the same story about the witches and stuff. It was bent more towards the slasher kind of genre.
Probably had a lot to do with
you know,
budget and everything.
Yeah, totally. But was one of his more famous movies, and it's still pretty neat, the story about the witches. This one, they just took that story though and really dialed it in, and the production quality was really high. I mean, it just made me like, Jesse, don't be a filmmaker. Just give up. Don't do it. It was that good to me. You guys will see it and say, I don't know what Jesse's talking about, but you know.
No, I've heard everyone say that was one of the better horror movies of 2018. Like,
It
it's
was
in
great.
the top.
I'm bothered by it, but I think they did everything right in that movie.
Dakota Johnson was in that too,
Yes.
wasn't she? She made a good leap from,
Mm-hmm.
surprisingly, especially I think for a woman to go from 50 Shades of Grey to like being in Bad Times at the El Royale.
Right.
I hadn't seen that, but I wanted to see it.
She does play a pretty strong character in that too.
I haven't seen the Shades of Grey
It's
ones,
awesome.
but
I hadn't seen it.
I've heard
we all
bad
agree.
things, so
Oh,
that's
yeah.
why I'm not running to the theater to see it or any of them.
I could
but-
puke every time I
I've
watch
never
it.
Yeah, I'm
seen
not
any of
really
that.
interested. Yeah.
I've heard
You will when you have a girlfriend.
I'm not so surprised that it did so well, being that we're so dialed into sexism right now.
It's strange because the book was really big, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then and then the movie did really well. It's like I liked it, but I'm not gonna tell anybody.
I don't even know how it did good. It's so crazy. I know it's an opinion, but I just can't. I can't
I
say
mean,
it.
I'm still shocked about the Twilight stuff.
Oh.
Okay, well,
That it was spoofed
I
on.
my
saw,
time-
I saw the. I
my
did see the
time.
first one of those.
Yeah, I don't get. I watched those and I thought, I'll give
when
it
you're a
a
teenager and that came out, it was popping.
I don't understand.
I was forced to watch those at 14 with my aunt, and
See, I read the books.
I couldn't
that's why
do
I loved
it.
I stayed away. But,
I
you
saw
know,
the first one.
I'm not gonna
See,
say
hey,
if someone
what's
would
going
give
on
me
with
the
this,
job,
you know,
Twilight
what's the deal
10.
with this?
Yes,
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
it's gonna be the best Twilight ever. Yeah.
It ain't happening.
Yeah.
They would. The people that were even in that didn't want to play in it anymore.
Yeah,
I
right.
will say though, in Twilight, when they're like, you have to, the baby might kill you, you gotta abort it, and then she makes her own decision. Like,
Yeah, there's
no,
a lot
I'm
of
not gonna-
great twists and
I'm not
turns.
gonna do
Gosh, I
that.
heard.
Hunger Games. Sorry.
Oh,
True.
Gee.
yeah.
I fell in love with Jennifer Lawrence in that movie.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I've not
First
seen
movie
it,
is
you
good.
know.
Yeah.
The
She's- I
last
just saw her
ones,
in
they were
Sherlock,
like the
man.
last books too.
In real
No
life.
one wanted
She's
those.
good in the X-Men too.
Yeah. I liked her in
She's good in everything.
all the movies I've seen her in.
She plays
Yeah,
a lot of
yeah, I
strong
mean,
When she was a little kid,
characters.
that was the one about the, was it meth? What were they dealing in? But she was like this kid got caught up in that whole thing. It was her first movie.
Oh,
It's really good.
Winter's Bone.
Yeah, it's at Winter's Bone.
She was like 16, 17. That's a good movie.
Yeah, yeah.
She was. She won't that
She
much
learned
work.
how to
Well, I
skin
mean,
a squirrel. for
younger,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
She what?
She learned how to skin squirrels for that.
Oh yeah.
I thought that was.
She was good in Silver Linings Playbook.
That's a great movie.
Yeah.
Oh,
That was good.
God, every movie
That
she's
was
played
my
in has been
first
good.
rated R movie.
Huh.
You never forget your
Who's
first.
That was my first choice.
All right. What's everybody's first rated R movie?
Oh.
Like I can
Oh,
tell you
that's
one, the first one I snuck into the theaters and
Yeah,
and,
you're not
and
supposed to see it. You saw it.
this is if my mom finds this footage, I'll get killed. But I lied and told my mom was watching something else, and then I took my friends and we went and saw Deadpool.
Oh, okay. Right on. Yeah.
Oh, I guess in
First,
theaters.
like, I guess
Well,
old enough because I was 18.
I hate to say that because I really was watching. I had watched rated R movies before.
Right.
The first one I saw in a theater.
Right.
I went to see, and it wasn't because I was
Sure.
trying to, because I was 17 at the time,
Right.
so it wasn't like I was, little kid. But Silence of the Lambs was the first one I
Oh,
saw.
yeah.
in
That's
theater.
a great
good
one to be a
movie.
first one.
Yeah.
And
Loved it.
but I was 17, and I went with my brother, and I was taller than him, bigger than him, so it looked like I was
No,
probably
it's
about the
not
same
good.
age as he
Yeah,
was, and he was
yeah.
what 6 years older than I was at the time.
God, how do you remember your first?
That was the one theater. Now I've seen ones on DVD.
See, I felt
Mine were in
Or
pieces.
DVD.
Like I was usually at somebody
18, I
else's
was like-
house
Yeah.
because I thought
Like, come on.
was Beastmaster rated R? I guess so.
I don't know.
I
honestly
can't
don't
remember.
know.
It might have been that on HBO as I was a kid because I
Honestly
remember
don't know.
there was a scene where we all had to do
Yeah.
this, and
Yeah.
then I saw part of Sleepaway Camp at my friend Ronnie's house. That kind of counts
see
because
that
you're
till
not
later
supposed to
on.
see that. And
So funny you're working
as a
with her
little
now.
kid, I know, right?
Isn't that crazy? and
Yeah,
ironic?
yeah, and maybe the first one though, I got to see the whole thing, and I was allowed to. I was 11 years
The
old.
ending
My
was
parents
so
decided
disturbing.
11 it's fine for me to see rated R. I wouldn't say that to my kids, but I saw Commando, which is it's funny. I loved it at the time. It didn't traumatize me.
Well,
it was okay.
Traumatized me, but on a different level.
Do you know
How
the
bad
movie?
is this movie?
Yeah.
The movie
Yeah.
Piano.
The piano.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Where there's like a scene with frontal scene from a man.
Oh, yeah.
I actually met that man when I was a kid. My
Harvey
mom.
Keitel.
Yeah, we were at the
Dude,
Hard
he's
Rock
huge.
Cafe. We were sitting right next to him. My mom had like this full-on conversation where I played with his kid, or his nephew. No, it was his kid.
Keitel's awesome.
Yeah, but anyways, that was my little experience. But yeah, I watched that the first time, and then Munster, the movie with Charlize Theron, where she
Yeah.
is supposed to be Eileen.
Oh yeah.
The way you said that, you said it sounded like you said Munster.
I
I'm
do.
like,
I always say it like
Monsters?
that. Monster.
You saw,
I like
you saw the
saying monster.
monsters?
Yeah, Monster. Yeah, that was a good movie. My mom actually told me to leave the room, but I came back.
Yeah. Oh, Shining. I was a little kid. I never got to
The
see it.
Shining?
Of course,
I
it's
couldn't
like the
pass the
worst
trailer.
part possible for a kid to see.
The naked lady.
Oh, yeah. I saw
Oh, she's
that.
scary.
And then my parents told me, it was like, well, I've seen there's
You've seen it
nothing
all now.
worse than that.
Yeah, you've seen it all.
Like, come
And
here.
I was just like so scared, but loved it. I didn't know what it was I'd just seen, but it was
The
just
thing
like,
about it is I can think of the first horror movie I saw, but it wasn't rated R, believe it or not.
Mm.
It's Poltergeist.
Yeah, isn't that PG?
Maybe it should have been
PG.
rated
Isn't that
R.
crazy?
PG. This is before
Um,
PG-13
I think
and
it's
everything
scary.
comes out.
Yeah, I didn't
No,
sleep.
the
None of
first
us,
movie I
I
saw.
saw it with my cousins. None of us slept that night.
And
It was terrifying.
Every
How
time
is that
when
PG?
you just said the first R-rated movie, I'm like thinking, well, that's right, Poltergeist wasn't even
No,
R-rated.
that is R-rated.
But it was
Yeah.
strong content.
Yeah.
There's no way that's not alright.
Yeah.
The new one was pretty good.
Yeah.
I liked it.
But that's what when you said. I mean, Poltergeist was a great movie.
I did. I remember being in a store and they had like either I think it was Friday the 13th Part 2 or whatever on a laser disc, but I was like this tall.
Was John
But they had that
Wick
playing in
rated
the store and I was just like
Was John Wick
hypnotized.
rated R?
It was just the killer walking
John
around
Wick?
and I think there was like a scene. It was an
Same.
old couple
That was
and
the
then
first one I saw in
the
theaters.
killer's in a clothesline.
Nice.
He just kind of wandering around. I think he kills him.
Did you go with your family?
I went with my aunt.
I'm trying to think of which one was it that Jason. It was Jason X. That was one. That one was
Space
brutal. Yeah, no.
Jason X was
The other one, the one where it was really brutal. I watched it for the first time the other day, and I was like, "How did I have never seen this?" Because there's like 20 of them. but it was, I don't know which one it was called, but it was so brutal.
Yeah.
I got it now.
That's Voorhees' MO. Yeah.
The first scary movie I really saw, because my family didn't really like horror and they didn't have it.
Right.
Went with my friend to the beach, and it was like maybe 6th grade. It was Alien.
Ah.
The place we were staying had a bunch of old VHSs and they had
Right.
Alien. My friend was-
VHSs?
Yeah.
Sorry, I was like,
They're like-
Didn't you know they were gay?
and he looked. I remember looking at the egg on it,
Oh yeah.
and I was like, "What is this?" And it said Alien. I was like, "Ooh, an Alien movie." And,
did it scare you?
and I played it, and my friend was like, "Who was Ben?" He knew a little bit about it. He's like, "Oh yeah, let's watch it." My dad said never to let me watch it. And we're watching, and then his dad Oren comes in and goes, "What the heck?" And we're sitting there like.
Oh, bothers.
It's like-
Oh gosh. I was.
But-
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the first real horror with a. I guess I saw like with a friend. I guess I don't know.
The first horror movie I saw was Dale and Tucker versus Evil.
That's not
Oh,
horror.
that's great.
Okay, it's a spoof, but it's still horror.
It's got horrific things.
Look,
in it. Yeah,
okay, no,
it's
I'll take that. I think anything with gore in it I can't eat, so I
He goes
consider it
through a
horror.
wood
Right.
chipper.
Yeah, it was pretty gross.
He pulls out half a banana.
I think mine was like Fright Night or It.
Oh, yeah.
It
The
was
original,
definitely
the original Friday Night or the one?
The original.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I ain't that young.
Well, Friday Night was like what 85, so I mean.
Yeah, I love it. It's my favorite.
So I'm
it's one of
just
my
saying,
favorite
It's
horror movies.
great. It's
85,
I've seen the
86,
new one.
somewhere.
It's kind of whatever, but that original was really good.
This remake is not. It's okay.
It's not. Yeah, it's not awful. Go
Yeah.
burn
No.
the town down.
I don't know.
Like, they did change some things I didn't really like. about
Yeah.
If I don't own
remember a
something,
lot
it tells
from
you something.
it.
The first one though, I remember. I can kind of walk through the whole movie in my head.
Oh yeah, me too. I've watched so many scary movies, even as a 6-year-old, that I can't even really honestly tell you what my first scary movie was. Bela Lugosi movie, you know,
Right.
Dracula.
Well, there's that kind of
Well,
stuff too.
I
Which
guess
isn't really cool.
yeah. The
Yeah.
first one probably I remember seeing probably was Phantom of the Opera, the original
That
Phantom of
was
the
scary.
Opera
Mhm.
with Lon Chaney,
Yeah.
and that crap.
Man of a Thousand Faces.
And I know this is off topic, but I saw thinking of Alien. James Cameron's directing the new Terminator.
Yeah.
Is
And
that
Schwarzenegger's coming back.
is that gonna be, I guess, his third one?
Yeah, the third
Is
one
he-
he'll direct. He's produced.
Do you
probably
think it
all
will,
of them.
though-
Directing or producing? I mean, I'm not sure.
Maybe he's-
I don't know.
Do you think it will be the third to the second one and the first one he did?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
because he
I'm
never
pretty
really
sure
got to
they're
finish
forgetting
his
those.
story.
Right.
So I was thinking about that.
Could be. Could be.
I mean, I consider number 2 being kind of Terminator 2 being somewhat of an ending to it.
I guess
could
you're
see
right,
it.
yeah.
I mean, it had kind of a. If you would have left it there, and never made another Terminator movie the
He
rest of the
made
time, I
extra
think that'd
stuff
been
for
alright.
that movie, but I'm glad he cut that out.
Mm.
Have you seen that
Mm.
stuff?
Uh-uh.
I mean,
They have
extra-
they have a scene in the future at the end with Linda
Oh,
Hamilton.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in
Mm,
this
yeah.
futuristic city.
I've seen
I'm
that.
like,
Okay, I'm thinking. Wow, I haven't seen that.
if you put in the code of like the date, the year of Doomsday or whatever that is,
Mhm.
the Judgment Day, if you type that in on the DVD, it would take you to that secret version of the movie.
But I feel like that was actually my
Yeah.
first scary movie.
Was
What?
I mean,
That's-
there's.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well,
You do
I
that
know
all
there's
mine.
some missing scenes from Terminator 2 because
Mhm.
they actually in one of the versions of the T2 they put out on DVD because
Mhm.
they actually have it. I mean, they just it's part of the movie or whatever. They
Right.
didn't, it's not like you look at go into a different menu and say look at
Right.
cutscenes. It's actually in the movie itself.
Well, it was a full version of the movie.
because it showed Reese visiting her, his ghost visiting her in the mental
yeah, they had that
institution.
too. Yeah.
She's like laying down and she's like
Mhm.
tied up to her bed or whatever, like she was in the mental
cot,
That's
institution.
right.
And he comes to her. They had Michael Bean,
Mhm.
the actor, come in and do that part. They didn't show him.
That was
Right.
that was some really great effects for the time.
It was amazing. He had Cameron had originally they developed it was similar to the stuff they did in the Abyss. If you ever saw
Yeah.
that,
Yeah,
you know.
that was his
And then they
kinda
said
like-
instead of see-through, let's just make it chrome.
yeah.
Yeah,
And that's kind of what they did.
that was pretty cool.
It's good. I like the chopper pilot. He's like, get out. You know.
It was probably about. I mean, that's what's what you call evil. He had no emotions, but I mean, I
None.
know he's a robot, but he
Mhm.
had literally none.
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 Yeah.
So you could. I mean, and he almost felt impossible. I mean,
How
the
do
guy
you
was made
beat-
of metal.
Yeah.
Like, how do you?
Don't hurt me.
Well, I mean, he was very, I mean, like scary or whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
you had Arnold, of course, when he originally played the bad Terminator in the first one.
He was unbeatable.
Yeah, he was unbeatable and he's scary or whatever type thing. But then you had Robert Patrick, who was of course smaller than he was,
Right.
Or was scarier.
and thinner, and not really that buffed or anything like that. But he was like very intimidating or whatever.
Sure.
I'm amazed with the CGI with that. Like, you think it works. It doesn't look bad. Like,
It looks really good.
It looks good.
Mhm.
Like, I was amazed
That
with
movie,
you know?
it certainly elevated it. Like the first Terminator almost is on the level of the sort of '80s action movie kind of feel
Mhm.
to it.
Yeah.
It's
low
more.
budget.
It's more
You
horror.
can tell it was a doll.
than,
Yeah.
than
Mhm.
even like it's more horror than,
Yeah.
than
She's
sci-fi.
Very much
For the
so.
80s,
I
you know,
agree.
They had a lot of strong girl actors
Mhm.
for
Yeah.
being badass.
Oh, that's right. Sigourney Weaver and Linda Hamilton,
Like-
for sure.
The top, yeah.
Cameron had a type.
Mhm.
You know,
Right.
in his movie, he was pointing toward more. I mean, we won't go into Avatar because I don't really want to talk about that. But
Yeah.
Same.
I don't like Avatar, so just to let you know. That's my.
You
hot
didn't like the
take.
first one?
I hated it.
Here's a fun topic. I thought was funny. What's a great movie everyone loves but you hate?
Ooh.
You know, a movie everyone loves, it's
That's a good
fantastic, but you just don't like it.
Avatar's one of them.
I could take
that.
that.
Independence Day is another.
Independence Day?
One. I can't stand that. See?
Lesme. I love it, but I hate it.
Which,
Who? What? What?
Lesme.
I don't know that movie.
I don't know how to say it in French.
Les Miserables.
Les
Oh,
Mis.
Oh,
Les
Les
Mis.
Mis.
Les Mis. I always say Lesme. I don't know.
I just stay away from it, so I don't know if I.
I
like
actually
it or
haven't
not.
seen it, so I
Yeah.
can't
I
judge
like
it one
it
way or
too.
another.
There are so many problems with it, though.
There's
If
movies
you
I
think
like
of
that
the
everybody
story
hates.
was.
That's easy.
Victor Hugo.
I was just saying,
was
like,
not
you know,
a
the
person.
big movies like Lord of the
Victor
Rings
Hugo.
and stuff like
Right.
that.
He
Like,
wrote Les Mis.
Oh,
when you're just like, I
Yeah.
don't
I
give
don't know.
You're like, I'm the one out, the odd one out where I don't like it.
I don't want to say Titanic because I really haven't seen full Titanic.
I can say it. There we go.
So I can't say whether I like fully like. I thought it was just really fluff and really stupid to
Yeah.
put a love story in the middle of a catastrophe going on or whatever
Mhm.
type thing. And so I really never really went
That's
to
how you get
movies
the
to
audience,
see it.
though.
I never saw it. So I've seen bits and pieces, but not enough to say, oh, I hate that movie, or I hate
Yeah.
everybody's stupid because
I have a
the movie's
bad
dumb.
You know,
take on that movie
just
because
as
I
slow.
went out with this person. We only went out on one date. Obviously, it didn't work out, but like that's not the problem. But we were laughing at the movie through the whole thing, and maybe it could have been the company I was with, you know, or something like that. But I remember when the ship was sinking, there was someone who was falling, and it was like they're gonna hit that thing, and they did. It was a bong, and I was like, laughing. And then at the end, I'm like, really, he could have gotten on the ice floe.
He
with
could
her.
have.
They could have.
He didn't even try.
I'm just like,
Wait, was this when it first came out,
Mythbusters
Jesse?
proved it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't even try.
I'm
He
just
was like, you go watch the baby.
You know, I don't want to
Without
bag
me.
on it because obviously
No,
it's
he
got,
back up.
but yeah.
it's got really good
You
production
just, like,
value.
supposed-
That, you know, but I just you know, maybe also Pearl Harbor, like the actual
Well,
attack on.
I
Pearl
don't think
Harbor was
everybody
good,
loves
but
it.
everything
I don't think
around-
everybody
yeah,
likes
wasn't
it, though.
yeah.
I don't think it, like,
Yeah.
I
I
don't
don't
know.
think anybody likes it.
The second Jurassic Park movie.
Yeah.
All of them.
I agree with that.
Mm.
Yeah.
I know a lot
I
of
like it.
people who liked it.
Okay.
I know it's better than the third one, definitely.
The
But
worst.
I can't get behind Julianne Moore in that. I really can't. And the daughter.
The worst
I
one.
forgot Julianne Moore was
Oh,
in
I
that.
did too.
Jurassic
Second one.
Jurassic World is another one that I can't. It's stupid to me.
Yeah.
Speaking of Jurassic.
I like the
movie.
very first one.
I don't mind
That's,
Jurassic World in the fact that now they're making more, which I think's dumb.
It
I think
is.
Jurassic World was a great way to end it because then you got to see the park, which was cool, and how it worked, and then a monster dinosaur. It's cool one time, but not again. So that's why I like
You're
it.
just redoing the same
Yeah.
thing
Well,
over
see,
and over.
Fun
The-
popcorn
the
film.
kids in the first one, Jurassic
Mhm.
Park, Steven Spielberg's Jurassic Park,
Yeah.
they were not annoying. They were there for a reason.
Mm.
They had skills that they could help out if they needed to.
Right.
Yeah.
They were not
That's true.
annoying.
She could hack.
It was not like they were running off somewhere, whatever, doing whatever. And they're like, oh god, that's so
Right.
annoying. The kids in Jurassic World were, yeah, die, please die. I
I
don't care. Huh?
Yeah.
I cared. I thought.
Really?
Maybe that's because I'm an older sister. I don't know.
I mean, you know, you can.
They're not very
that's-
likable.
I just like. I
I
didn't want them to die in Jurassic Park, but I wanted them to die in Jurassic World. And you should not want the protagonist in a movie to
I'd
die.
say the characters were not as strong as the original one.
Right.
I remember.
Here's a good thing. Can you guys tell me what their characters' names were in
No.
Jurassic World? Because I can't. And it's a funny thing.
That's
You're right.
That's why I said
Owen,
the kids.
Claire.
It was-
When
Can't
she
remember
said
their
Owen,
names.
I just think
It
I
was
call him Chris Pratt. He's good enough.
Yeah.
I don't know his character, but like you go to the first one, like
Yeah.
Dr. Grant, like
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
So yeah,
Well, I mean, especially the kid. To me, like the kid, like the older brother. I guess it was an older brother and a younger brother.
Yeah.
Yeah. Both the kids. Yeah, I just didn't. I mean, their whole storyline, them going around, I just didn't care. I mean, like, they die, they die. If they don't, they don't. You know, it's just like they were kind of annoying too, and it's just like, and again, Chris Pratt's character, like you just said, I don't remember his name. I don't remember her name. I don't remember anybody's name in that. Because it just the story with them was just not interesting either. I mean, but that's me. Not everybody.
No, I agree.
It shows you like that
You don't have
early
to- you
movie.
don't have to
There's
agree.
probably more care taken to characterization than there was in the other ones are like, oh, what dinosaur can we put here? How big can we make this dinosaur in this one? We went this big in this movie, so we got to go bigger now, right?
it's pretty much like the movie's plot.
I feel like
Yeah.
They make a bigger, scarier
It's
dinosaur.
like they do the Meg. It was just like bigger shark. And I enjoyed the
I
Meg.
I
enjoyed
loved
the
that
Meg.
movie.
I liked it, but it was just
The
like,
Meg
you
was
know,
a good
I hadn't
dumb
seen it.
film.
I didn't want to see it.
But
It's-
even my
it's okay.
8-year-old
It's not
nephew figured out the.
That wasn't the
The
shark.
whole
Because
plot.
first of all, how did you get? Oh, sorry. Sorry, I was just so into
No,
it.
no.
I'm sorry.
I was finished with my sentence.
No, I totally interrupted you, but I was gonna say I thought you were talking about the shark, the smaller shark on the boat when they thought they got it, and I was like,
Right.
"There's no damn way that that's the shark," because you
Put it
knew
on. So, yeah.
that's not even. I mean, you know, that's that size. First of all, that shark could not fit on that boat. It could have ate the boat,
Yeah.
I know it was so stupid.
Yeah.
but it was good.
Oh, we got it.
It was really good. Just like 47 meters down was really good too.
I heard that was really
I
good.
didn't
It's
like
dope.
it. I liked it till the point where it goes, "Ha, got you,"
Yeah.
and I was like, "That's stupid."
It was really intense and very suspenseful. That's what was really
I don't
great
like
about
when
it.
it ends like she pretty much died and
Jaws is still probably my favorite shark movie.
just
Yeah.
lame.
Jaws will always be awesome. I was watching it the other night.
Cool movie.
It is. It's a great movie.
All right. We're drifting out to sea.
Well,
now.
we've drifted a long time ago, but we ended. That's why I kind of trying to end it when I
Yeah.
said, "Well, we feel like we done the."
Mm.
So I mean, I'm fine
You
with
got
what
enough
we got.
material
Yeah,
there
I'm fine with
for
what we
what
got.
you need.
Yeah, but I don't know. We drifted off so much. I don't even know where we got.
Gosh.
But
Shoot me a question.
Just talk about Suspiria all day.
Yeah.
Well, none of y'all have seen it, so.
Well, I thought.
What's the plot of that?
Did you ever see Swiss Army Man?
No,
Who's the
but I've
best
heard
witch?
about it, and
Who's the
I
best
was.
witch?
Who's the
It's
strongest
one of
witch?
the things
Okay.
that's,
Okay.
But it's gnarly.
A
It's
super
real gnarly.
underrated
Okay.
movie, kind of bad concept, but
It's
it's
a great
a
movie.
guy.
Valentine's Day is
stranded on an
Thursday.
island
What's
and
your
finds
favorite
this,
romantic comedy?
Who's
Finds
Daniel
Daniel
Radcliffe.
Oh,
And he
Deadpool.
has gas.
Yeah.
Actually, that's good.
And he
And he's
uses,
just
I can get you with that.
Yes.
that
It's
was-
dead.
he
Deadpool.
uses his body
Love Actually is
to
pretty
survive.
good.
They were actually
Pretty
good.
much. And uses like his teeth to shave his beard. His
Then I go into
insides
comedy
to
and this
retain
is
water.
Romantic
Yeah.
comedy.
Correction
Yeah,
to
yeah.
point him
I mean,
into
somebody,
a direction that to
podcast was one the other
civilization.
day. They were
It
doing
was
their
really good.
since it was
And it wasn't.
near-
I mean, it
They
wasn't.
said the
like,
top 3
super-
romantic comedies.
It wasn't. There's no
And
movie or.
one of them
it was
said
really
Roxanne.
clean for something that kind of felt dirty.
Oh
but
yeah,
it wasn't.
that's a good movie.
You know what I mean?
For some reason, I
So you would
wanna
really
say,
like it. You need to watch it.
There's
It's on
something about
Netflix, by the
Mary.
way.
Sweet.
Also,
The dialogue is
Night and Day is a good one.
That's a little more too
But it's
far.
really interesting.
Yeah. What?
You're gonna love
But
it.
it's
Tell me to
good.
watch it. Tell me
It's
what
not
you
Night
as
and
long
Day.
as Castaway.
Night and Day.
No.
With Tom
If I
Cruise.
can make it through
Cameron
Castaway.
You
Diaz.
can make it through this.
I know the movie you're
It's
talking
got a
about. I
little
haven't seen
twist.
it.
I love
It's not a
it.
big
It's
twist.
she's so clueless,
It's
and then
obvious.
she starts as she learns,
Yeah.
and it plays really well. And then she's like saves his butt. But.
They were in another movie together where she tried to kill him.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
Sorry.
Cameron Diaz is trying to kill Tom Cruise. And it was a remake of a foreign film. It was pretty good.
You seen Night and Day?
Night and Day. Sounds familiar.
It's a romantic action comedy.
That's what we.
I don't really like
What's your
It's a
favorite romantic
mashup.
comedy?
It's a
That's what we
mashup.
would come up with.
It's like
Actually,
It's romantic.
I would have to say Shallow Hal. I've always loved that movie. It's always going to be my favorite because when I was a kid, it was
It's not
one of the
with Beatles,
first.
is it?
I mean, it came out in 2004, 3, something like that. And I was kind of,
Yeah,
I wasn't young, but I wasn't a baby either.
You
I mean, I wasn't old. So
Right.
that was my first experience with comedy and romance. At least I can remember.
Never watched the whole thing.
Either.
Vanilla Sky was the one I was.
I love that movie.
I watched it through
Pretty good
school.
movie.
Oh my god. First time I ever watched that movie, I knew I was thinking Vanilla Sky. I couldn't understand what the heck, and I couldn't tell you now.
Vanilla
Yeah. It's messed
I
up.
own it. I loved it so
Yeah, it's a
much.
good movie.
Yeah, it was really
It's a
sad.
remake of a same director, but he made the remake too.
It made me feel better about dying.
Yeah.
Yeah, Catherine, where's your favorite romantic comedy? That's what we kind of
Oh
want to
shoot, my favorite romantic comedy.
Mm-hmm.
There's a movie on Netflix called The Decoy Bride with David Tennant and the voice of Merida. I can't remember her name. She was also in No Country for Old Men. The girl, she's Scottish. She's wonderful. Anyway, I love it.
Okay.
Bridget
It
Jones.
might not be my favorite, but it's really good.
Decoy,
It's super underrated.
Decoy what?
Decoy Bride.
Decoy Bride.
I like David Tennant, so it'd be a little bit.
It was really pretty, shot on a less well-known Scottish island.
It's a lot of good ones. Amelie's pretty good. It's not comedy.
Yeah.
It's definitely like love
Bridget Jones
story.
Diaries.
And then, yeah, Bridget Jones Diaries. Also in the same vein as Amelie, he did a very long engagement or something like
Yeah.
Oh, the one with Jason Segel. Are you talking about Emily Blunt in it? Am I thinking of that?
that. I thought it was.
Am I thinking of
When you say Jason Segel, I think of Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
that? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's a good one too.
Yeah, it is.
That's
It's
actually
super
that's a
funny.
really good. That's a really good.
You would like that if you haven't seen it. Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Yeah.
It's your kind of humor.
Sounds familiar.
That's really
The
good. That's a really good.
the part where you see his penis just really upset me though. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, ew.
It actually shows
You don't want to
his
see.
penis.
That's the last person's one I want to see.
It actually does show his penis.
I remember my mom getting me to
Are you
watch
saying that you like
16
it just like-
Candles, and she hadn't watched it in a while, and then suddenly it's just boobs. She was
Wait, which
like, wait,
movie?
what?
Boobs.
16 Candles?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, okay.
That's
yeah.
my mom and dad when they show me their movies. They're like, we were just watching it as kids. I'm like, what are they doing?
Why is this PG?
Why are they hugging
Why
like
is
that,
this
Mom?
PG?
She's like,
Jeez.
"Turap." I'm like,
You grew up in the
wow.
80s? Oh, those are harmless movies. I've seen them.
Oh,
all.
yeah.
It's
You
like,
guys
oh,
really
geez,
saw a
what are
lot.
they trying
There's
to
no
do?
innocence in the 80s.
My mom,
There's no-
this is what she does every time.
It says that.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
that. That's what she does.
Pretty in Pink was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Breakfast
Really
Club.
good.
That was really good.
Breakfast Club's good.
My favorite all-time 80s movies, though, is always going to be Just One of the Guys. Because, you know, guys, as I know my situation, it always made me feel
Right.
happy.
Right.
Because it was like one of those first type movies that where a girl was like, you know what, guys are always in charge. You know, guys are always getting the upper hand. I'm going
Right.
to get the upper hand. She pretends to be a guy and
Right.
proves that she was just as smart as every other.
Yeah.
Sure.
The only problem I have with that one, and it has nothing to do with the story or anything like
Yeah.
that, really. It's just like the actor they got as the romantic interest or whatever with her at the end.
Yeah.
He looks.
Just
he's-
like Tommy Lee Jones.
He looks way too old to be in high
But
school. I know
he does.
there's a lot of '80s movies that have a lot of people who are
Oh, there's a
way
lot of
too
unfortunate
old,
80s
you know,
movies.
or
She
any
did
not
too.
even '80s movies, any high school movie, you know, that deals with high school. You know, you see a lot of people who are in their 20s and they're playing high school kids.
Oh,
I
yeah.
still see
But
that.
yeah,
You need to watch it. It's
and
really
but
good.
that one just like
That's an entertaining
the
movie.
guy she has a romantic interest. He looks really way too old to be in high school.
Yeah, no, I mean, you know, I was
I
80s.
felt bad about. I went visit my mom at her middle school
That's,
and went through the 8th
that's
grade.
the only.
Those 8th graders are bigger than me. I was sitting there thinking, man, I guess I could have
Is
just.
there something in the
Everyone's
I could
water?
audition as an 8th grader for movies.
There is something in the water.
There's got
I was never that tall when I
it.
was in 8th grade.
Same.
The
They're
grade
huge.
above me in high school was scary. They were all like had giant beards
Yeah.
and stuff like this.
Mine was like the movies. There was literally a
Yeah.
guy. that was just huge, and he would just mummer.
Oh.
What?
There's
It
a
was
dude
scary.
Named, there's a dude named Seabolt. I bet you almost every month he would break the backboard of
The basketball?
gym. And, those things are like 2.5
Yeah.
inches thick. He just. I'm like, oh god.
I bet he was popular in high school.
No one messed with him.
I bet.
He was, he's in an upper tier of people. You don't know what they do. They're just, you don't mess with them. You don't get in their way. You don't.
Right.
You don't exist to them, of course, and that's good.
I always thought it was so cool for me. When I was a 9th grader, I joined the soccer team, made the team, and all of them knew my dad because he used to be a teacher.
Right.
And my dad was a really cool teacher to them. And the big guy named Austin, the biggest player you ever seen on soccer, was like, I'm going to protect you, Schultze. Because your dad allowed me to pass because I should have failed. And I remember I felt so cool because being a 9th grader, I had this big guy.
Right.
And I remember my friends were like, oh, here comes this one guy. And I'm like, oh, it's all right, guys, he's with me. He's like, these kids bothering you. I felt so cool. I had like the big guy. But yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're kind of.
What's next?
We got anything else you want to talk about?
Throw something
Sort
at
of slowing down. Any new questions before we're out of here?
Oh, something cool.
All right.
Avengers Endgame is going to be 3 hours long
Yeah, I heard that.
in the theaters.
Not surprised.
Pretty. And they're talking about there's going to be like an intermission.
Well, they get bathroom.
Only the problem with that though is
I'm excited though.
I'm not saying
just
the
see
only
the
problem with that
computers
is
and
not
paint.
because of the movie. I want to see the. I would love to see a 4-hour movie. I don't care.
Right?
Me too.
It's just that the theaters are going to have problems because they gotta show so many movies in a day.
Right.
What was this
To get
question?
the
I'm so
money.
sorry. I
Yeah.
want to know.
They were saying the 3-hour the next Avengers movie is going to be 3 hours, and they might have a intermission or whatever type thing.
Yeah.
3 hours.
I bet you at least a third of the
But
big
see,
theaters.
that's
at
going to
least
be
a third
less
of them will
showings
have
though.
those.
If you're going to
But
have
the thing is, like,
intermission day, you're gonna have
It
less
makes sense, yeah.
opportunities.
But this movie is so hyped. I think it's the one time it can get away because.
And they may purposely, like, they're all in cahoots, like the theaters and the studios. And,
Yeah.
And if about when they release stuff, they are.
Yeah. I know. I just
So
like the way you
we're
said
gonna
it.
do Avengers then, so we'll put in these 5 other shitty movies that no one's gonna see when that's playing.
Yeah.
Do that,
Options.
and like at a 20plex, 15 are playing Avengers at least for the first week, and then
I didn't even
So
think
on and
about
so
that, but
forth.
yeah, they do that.
yeah, and they're all tiered. Are you gonna go see it in 3D? You're gonna see it 3D IMAX.
Yeah.
You're gonna go see it in the the cheap seats.
When's it come out?
April 26th.
Cool.
He knows.
Captain Marvel comes out less than a month from now.
Captain World?
Marvel.
Captain
Marvel.
Marvel.
Oh.
Marvel. I said that in
Is it
there.
the girl one?
Hmm?
That's the girl one,
That's
right?
the girl one.
Yeah, that's the girl one.
Brie Larson.
Yeah. I saw a commercial for that. They look
I
good.
like the way you said it. That was the girl one.
I was happy to see it. I have to say, I'm one of those people that I'm the bad person that probably like. It's because I did grow up with like Spider-Man, Batman,
Yeah. Sure.
Even George
And
the
the
Jungle.
one really bad Catwoman movie.
Yeah,
I saw that.
Yeah.
I saw that, and I get why everyone hates it.
Yeah,
I just stayed away from
It freaked me out. I was
It's a
like,
bad movie.
she's like, her hair products or something.
Oh,
And I was like, what?
And then she went to accept her own Razzie
Yeah.
Didn't she?
Wait,
Hey, that's
what?
cool though.
for Catwoman.
'Cause
Halle
didn't she
Berry. She
just
went
get a-
to accept her own Razzie award.
Because didn't she get
What do
the
you
Oscar the year before that?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah,
she
for
did that, and then
Monsters Ball. Yeah,
we
for
haven't
Monsters
seen
love
Ball.
that
that
movies.
Yeah, there's like the bad
Like, come
movie
on.
awards.
They have bad
Like
movie.
Razzies for
Razzies.
Oh, the
worst
Razzies,
actress
yeah.
in a movie,
Mhm.
worst screenplay.
Oh, I didn't know that.
worst-
Mhm.
That's
Every
so
year.
embarrassing.
They happen right like before
Yeah.
the.
Do you have to
before
accept
the, Oscars come out.
Yeah.
Or is it
I
like,
mean,
is it like being fun, or
I
is it
think
like
most
being
people
mean?
send
I think they're
somebody.
trying to be fun. It's
They try to be
mean.
fun, yeah.
I hope
She took it and she was
Well,
fun.
that's-
I hope I
that's-
get
I'm probably
one of
trying
those
to-
is playing
I'm
Steve.
There have been some actors who.
I hope so.
Who,
I'm gonna be
like,
so
they go
excited.
and pick up their own.
Only you. Only
Thank you so
Because
much.
It's PR
This
stuff
character-
or whatever. More than likely.
First
Yeah,
award
So-
number
worried
one.
about it.
So
Yeah.
bad that
Yeah.
you all said I was the worst.
That old adage, it doesn't matter.
You
what
know
the
what that
news is
means
on
to
it,
me?
As
Yeah.
long as there's
That's
news,
amazing.
people are talking
I mean,
about you.
the actors may
Take it
act
from me,
bad in
guys.
movies or whatever type thing, but they did get paid
Really
for
good.
it.
True.
Yeah,
It's not
right.
like they- it's
I
not
got
like they
paid. I don't
did-
care. It
it's
wasn't
not-
my
yeah.
They
idea.
work out, a lot of actors' prices are different because the actors and their agents work out their own deals with the studios and stuff, so you're going to get a flux there.
Yeah. So I mean,
And then a lot
They
of
did
stuff
get
is based
paid.
on, a lot of movies can get made, we'll talk about this later on, but like there's a thing called foreign pre-sales. If you got an actor that people want to see in a country, they'll give you some money to make your movie,
Yeah.
you know, and stuff like
Cool.
Ooh, Aladdin's coming out. Sorry.
Yes, I'm so excited about that.
did y'all see this?
Guy Ritchie personally.
Did y'all
I've
see
seen the
the
polarization.
teaser?
I did.
Teaser?
I did.
Will Smith looking blue. The CGI don't look too good. I just saw that
I mean, that
new
was
trailer.
makeup. That was straight up makeup.
I don't know how it's going to be. I didn't watch the trailer, but what I did watch is like this room. Half the room like, oh, I can't wait. The other half,
I was like,
you know.
because I love the Aladdin
That's what
movie.
I
did
Maybe
too.
it's gonna be hard
My
for them to
favorite
impress
Disney.
me because it's one of my favorites. But
It's Mercy's favorite.
I
The
just
animated-
you
the
need Robin
animated
Williams.
one was good. I will admit, all these
Robin
coming out
Williams.
like Lion King and all that stuff coming out soon too.
I'm excited for that one.
I'm not really excited for any of them because these movies don't connect with me, or I say,
Oh yeah, I get it.
because when they were coming out,
You're
y'all
an
were younger,
Yeah.
y'all were directed
See,
toward
I don't
y'all.
care for Lion. I never.
I did not. They were not directed. We had when me and Jesse basically were growing up. Disney wasn't really that big. Well, I mean, they had anime movies from the 60s, 40s and
That's what I
and
started
50s,
old
watching
Mickey.
as
like
well.
Yeah.
Snow Whites and
80s.
stuff like that, and they would put them out, put them out in theaters again. But we didn't have like newer stuff coming out as much.
Yeah.
Like we had Black Cauldrons.
Oh, that's my favorite.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
I have it. I have
Cinderella.
the 25th anniversary edition.
Okay. I never saw it, but that was one of the things. But they didn't come out with that many like that one, and maybe I think one or two other ones or whatever.
Then
during that time, so
later
we did-
80s, they started coming out with more.
Late 80s, early 90s when they Beauty and the Beast and they had all that stuff, and we were already older by then. So I mean,
Right.
I didn't really say, hey, let me go see that Disney movie at the theater, being 20 years old. But
Just rented a Blockbuster.
yeah. But I mean, I've seen them, but like Jungle Book, which was actually the older
I was just
movie,
about to mention
in the
Was
60s.
that the last one they did while Walt Disney was still alive?
You might be right about that.
I'm not sure. I'm not, but
Sounds-
maybe
I remember
it's very
hearing
possible.
something
It's
about
possible.
that.
Was Robin Hood.
Now I did like that and that was my that's
The
my
kid
favorite.
version one with the foxes and all that? With the
No,
animals?
I mean the Robin Hood. That's what I'm talking about. Jungle Book. I
Oh.
did like
Oh.
the Jungle Book
Jungle
animated.
Book was great.
That's my favorite. That was my favorite when I was a kid. Growing up, was that one. But that was from the '60s. Though that was before
Have
my
you-
time. Whatever.
Rando, have you seen the one that's on Netflix? There's a new, and I thought it would suck.
Oh,
It's so
the
good.
one with
The
that
one that Andy Serkis
starting the
did?
circus.
No, okay, so there was
Mowgli?
two. Not there's
The
yeah,
Andy Serkis
Mowgli.
and
Mowgli,
there
this
was
is the
new
Mowgli
one.
and
I
but
haven't
it's
seen
where
it.
it's really vulgar.
It's
though.
darker, right?
It's dark.
Is it better?
It was
Oh.
it was the best freaking
Yeah.
remake I've seen. It was so good. It was sad.
Right.
It was super sad. I think was it Mowgli?
It's called Mowgli. I was gonna
Oh.
see it.
It was really.
I've been
It
waiting.
wasn't gory.
Christian Bale was the voice of Bagheera.
Yes.
I was gonna ask too.
I love
Does it? Do they feel more like?
You loved it? It was so sad when they killed his
loved
friend.
it.
Did you
Spoilers.
Sorry.
Did you like Christian Bale more as the
Yes.
Panther? Did they?
Eh, The
Or was Ben
snake, the
Kingsley?
snake was actually nice in that one, I think.
Oh,
That's my
she's
last
like
spoiler.
a mysterious.
Yeah, she was like new. Well,
I-
she knew what was gonna
I
happen.
love the original drum book because the snake is the same voice of Pooh Bear,
Yeah.
Right.
and I just hear Pooh Bear, which makes me laugh every time. He's like, "Yo,
Yeah.
Do you need honey?
honey." Like it makes me
The
laugh.
voice actor is really good. I like his.
I have to watch Mowgli though. I haven't
It's-
keep.
I'm just
Getting
thinking,
distracted by
like,
Community.
I remember Secret of Nim, which was kind of
Yeah.
big when we were kids. I don't know if y'all heard about
I
that.
haven't
It's
seen
about
it.
Mhm.
research mice and stuff.
So
about
fun.
their plight, but it's a good movie.
Oh,
I own it. Yeah, I still
yeah.
own it.
Creepy.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a great movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Cockadoodle Doo. That came out in the 80s, didn't it?
I don't know.
about.
Remember
No, Rock and Roll Car. Rock
The
and Roll.
Last Unicorn? That's a hard to come by one.
Yeah.
I have not seen that, but I know what that is.
Watched that.
I know
There was a
about
bunny
that.
movie.
Watership Down.
Yeah.
Oh, they got
Oh,
a
yeah,
new.
we were talking about that. the
Yeah,
other
I don't
day.
know if I got the strength
Oh,
to
that's
watch
on
the new one.
Netflix,
I've
isn't
read
it?
the book and seen the
The
cartoon.
computer
Cried
animated
My
eyes out.
grandparents
Yeah,
watch
yeah.
it,
That
and I
was-
walk in, I go,
that was
"Ew,
from
it
the
looks so
70s, wasn't
ugly." and they're like, it's so good. I was like,
I watched
no,
it
I can't
with
watch it.
Wasn't that from the
with
70s?
my older sister, and I
I
did
think
the
it
whole
did. Maybe
like
maybe
don't
they
tell me
made
when
it in
it's
the
on.
70s.
Really?
I'm holding her arm really
I
tight.
remember watching it in school
that
when
was
I
the
was
most
like,
ridiculous thing
It's
ever.
so
Yeah.
heavy. It's heavy.
It is heavy. It's not really a
like
kid
first
movie.
or
No.
second
Get
grade.
into it.
It's got
But,
like death as a main theme in
The
it.
2D
Yeah.
one is even scarier.
Yeah,
Way scarier. Yeah.
yeah.
And was it in the 90s or was in the 90s? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was still kind of
That
an adult
freaked
film
me
too.
out.
Yeah, it was great.
I couldn't get through it.
Ants. I loved
I
ants.
couldn't
I
get
still love
through
ants.
And
To be
Uh,
fair,
ooh.
I haven't tried watching it since
tried.
I was
Sorry,
7.
Ants and a Bug's Life.
My
came
grandma
out the
told me
same
not
year,
to
so
watch
At
it.
the same time.
Oh,
She
Yeah.
owned
I
it,
didn't know that.
Yeah, I think
and she
so.
threw it away.
All I remember
She wouldn't let me
is
watch it, remember that?
the main ant dude holding the head of like one of his friends, and I can't.
Yeah, well, I mean, no, it was in the ground, so you couldn't
I never,
tell.
I never
Right.
saw that one. Golly.
No,
I
he was
liked
holding
I
it.
liked the
Gross.
ant bully. That was okay.
The main ant guy.
It
Yeah.
wasn't a big movie. You know what a great movie is that was animated that wasn't big? I think it is big now though. It was Hoodwink.
Yes.
Hoodwink.
Oh,
That's 2006.
my dad
I
introduced
think.
me to Hoodwink.
I remember
loved
me
it.
and my family, we got it somehow when I used to be, when elementary, we used to get these catalogs that would show movies that came out, and Hoodwink was on there. And I was like,
That bunny is the model for every other cartoon bunny villain that has come out.
right?
Alice in Wonderland came out.
I remember
around
watching
this
that,
time.
was blown away.
Alice in Wonderland. Well, probably before your time, but
Alice in Wonderland always creeped me out.
Later. That was sort of
And then when they came out with the new
the last
ones,
of the Disney
it didn't-
movies.
it didn't
help.
The dry spell in the 80s.
it made it
Shut
worse.
not.
Yeah.
I was like,
Came out.
that
That
cat
was
freaks me
I
out.
went and I watched it
I mean,
at the
I
library.
didn't watch many
They
animated
Really?
movies. I
showed
didn't go to
it
the
when
theater
it
and watch
came
many
out.
animated movies.
That
I
and
would
101
just-
Dalmatians kind of came
Oh, Water
out.
Horse
Which
was
is a great
good.
movie.
Water Horse.
I think I was even older than
Maybe
that.
So
I don't know,
underrated.
but
Yeah, it is
but-
underrated.
I just like I don't remember going to movie theaters in the '80s going to animated movies because it wasn't that many out for
Right,
ages
yeah,
or whatever.
It's kind of like a movie
And
where I was
I mean, like E.T. We had E.T., which I mean, of course,
It had to be an animal
Which is
movie.
like
I'm trying to think now.
movies like that, more directed.
What animal movie they did.
oh, I love
I
that
want
one.
to make sure the
I did see
Animal
the
didn't
first Transformers movie, the animated movie in the theater. That was awesome.
Oh,
No,
um,
it's cute.
Great
Baby.
movie.
You didn't
Better
hear
than-
about Bambi?
Better than
Anything
show
from
and
Michael
everything
Bay.
else.
No,
Good eating
better
snack.
than anything Michael Bay came out.
I'm kind of curious with the. It's not Michael Bay, the Bumblebee movie that came out, but I don't know.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah,
Oh, it's so good. It's
I'm
like
very hesitant on it.
no, it's cute. It's fun. Trust me.
There's a movie that's kind of like Transformers, but it's not Transformers. Real Steel with.
That's a good movie too.
Love that movie.
I
Oh.
was say Transmorphers.
Hugh
Yeah.
Jackman. Hugh
Yeah,
Jackman.
Hugh Jackman. I love.
Me and my dad love that movie.
Did
I love the
anyone
Eminem
see
song
the-
comes on. He's just like,
Oh yeah, that was a kick-ass movie.
it's like, oh yeah, it was a great box.
Did
I don't like
anyone see
boxing
the new
movies.
Pacific Rim?
The first one's good.
I love the
I-
first one.
Second one I watched.
I didn't watch the first one.
Don't watch
so-
the second one.
Isn't that?
Oh, it's
It was too
so.
much.
Oh, it's too bad.
It just goes.
The one with
Uh,
Charlie Hunnam or the one with Scott Eastwood?
Charlie, I think, right?
the first one I
Blonde.
liked a lot.
They're both blonde. The
It was
more
really
blonde.
good.
blonde.
Yeah.
I
Just-
didn't watch it. I mean, I can't say one way or another. I just didn't want to see it.
But the
'cause
the second
just
one
too
came
much.
and went. No one said anything about it. and I'm
There's a
like,
reason. Watch it. It's just kind of like what?
uh,
I don't want
it
to spoil
looks
it, but
I look a little too much. Hey, here's our special effects, and there's no story.
The
I
first
mean,
one was
that's
all
just me.
about-
That's
yeah,
what
yeah,
it looked
yeah.
like in the trailers anyway.
first
to
one
me,
was
anyway.
good though.
The first
Yeah, I
one, they
hadn't
had a
seen it,
really
so I
good
can't
story
say.
with the pilots. So
And how they
that's
linked.
kinda
See how it was
Yeah.
complicated and cool.
Yeah. Gosh, Ready Player One was surprisingly really good. I
I still
thought.
haven't seen
I
that.
hadn't seen that yet either.
See,
couldn't
I'm the
make
odd one
myself
out.
do
Me and
it.
my sister,
Didn't like it?
we laughed throughout the whole movie because I was like, what got me was he was like, when he told her, "I love you," I was like,
Yeah, that's
what?
yeah.
No, you do not. You don't
Right.
even know
I
her
thought
that
that stuff was
well.
kinda
Like it
forced.
just.
But I did like the whole thing of because I do think we're headed that way as far
I-
as like what.
I liked seeing the visuals looked cool, but like, but then for me it felt forced. Like, oh, we're in The Shining. Oh, it's like forcing like all these
Right.
great
It-
things, you know.
That's what it kind of looked like in the
It's
trailer.
just like-
It looked like here. Remember this? Remember
Yeah,
that?
it's
Remember
going.
that?
It's going. You like this? Oh, look, they magically ended up in The Shining. Like
Right.
I was like,
But I
wow,
Shining.
thanks. Yeah.
What do you mean?
well, they're like all
And I
over the
couldn't make
place in the
myself
movie.
watch Ready Player
All
One.
these other movies
What?
and
I
I did watch
characters
the
are in this
BFG.
video
I don't know.
game.
I
You can
couldn't.
play.
Yeah.
Ooh, I'm gonna
Like-
have to watch this now. That sounds fun.
It's
I never
It
seen
it
book
hurt
I understand
to
what
see
you're
saying. See what I'm
Steven
saying?
but I was
Spielberg
like really
doing
thinking
all
it was gonna be
this.
terrible. I went and saw
Yeah,
it.
it's not
Going,
terrible,
you know,
but
full
I'm
on
the
to
odd
the
one where
other
I
side,
didn't.
and
I'm not
like,
gonna watch
no,
it again.
I love the practical
I'm gonna-
effects.
I'm gonna go.
Oh,
Alright.
yeah.
And that ends another episode of the P114 Filmmakers Podcast. Thank you very much for checking this one out, and tune in for new ones. Take it easy. Bye.